So the 51 that was in your budget is for what exactly?
That is overhead.
Right.
There are several other things to do. Apart from payment of salaries, you do other things too.
Okay. In 2015, that same number was about 33 billion. So we've seen an increment of close to 20 billion between the time the last government left office and today, in terms of those wage bills, this budget that we're talking about.
Yeah, there is budget, but the reality is also there. You can have a budget.
I'm talking about the actual here. I've got the numbers, I'm looking at them. And the point I'm trying to make is that part of the allegation that a source that I spoke to made is that actually the reason there's been an increment, a huge increment between the last government and your budget keeps going up. When you first came, we went from 33 to 45 to 46, and now we're at 51, is because you do have a militia and you are arming them. And these are the people that you're using that money for.
You cannot assert that, because there is no record anywhere where Benue State is arming any militia. If you talk about militia, you know where it is. The Inspector General of Police knows where this militia came. If militia existed, they were there before I even came. And when I came, I did an amnesty program, first of all using the carrot approach. We saw a return of a lot of weapons back to us here in Benue State voluntarily. And we even paid a token on them. And the second one we're currently pursuing now is the stick approach. These two, the law enforcement agencies are going forcibly against those with illegal weapons and collecting them. And if you talk about we sponsoring the law enforcement agencies, that I will agree, but there is nothing like arming and sponsoring militia here. Rather, we succeeded in disarming a lot of people here.
You never quite answered the question on why your profile, your spending profile has become so much higher at a time when you are actually not even paying salaries in full. I'm still trying to understand why the numbers have climbed from the last government and successively through the years since you took office.
The number has not climbed. I have told you, when I came here, the wage bill I made was 8.2 billion.
I'm looking at your budget as presented in public, and also I cross-checked these numbers with Budget It, which, you know, sort of is a very respectful organization. In 2015, the actual spend on personnel was 33 million, a little bit over 33 billion. In 2016, when you started, it became 45, which is an increase of almost 7 plus 5 is 12 billion. In 2017, it was a little under 46 billion. And this year, by your own numbers, and we took this from your website, it is 51 billion.
That of course. Let me tell you, maybe let me tell you what has been happening. The truth is that when we came in, we inherited over 69 billion arrears of salaries and pension and gratuity. This we've been paying over the years, and over 70 billion contractual agreement. But we had over 69 billion arrears that was pending with government. And we've been offsetting some of this over the years. And maybe that is what is causing the increase you're talking about. Otherwise, everything we did, we have been very prudent as far as we're concerned here.
Okay, so let me ask you, given that the information or the story out there is that these herdsmen are armed, they are attacking communities in Benue State, they're seeking to overrun the place because they are in search of land, and they're basically looking to do a land grab. How come out of the 24, I think it's 24 local governments in Benue State, we have only maybe 23, sorry. Out of the 23, there are only maybe 2, largely dominated by Idoma, where we still have herdsmen. And the rest of them have largely left Benue State. Who chased them out of Benue State?
They've left themselves. Like I said, the Lord makes provision for ranching. So where you think that you cannot confine yourself to ranching, you are free to go to other states. That will have said it.
But that is
Mr.
Governor, sir, with all due respect, that is at odds with the character of the herdsmen that have been painted. We are told these herdsmen are murderers, they are armed. These are not people who just live on their own. That's not the character of somebody who will voluntarily leave because you've told him you have a law. If they are armed, they are dangerous, they are killing people, and they don't like the law that you've put together, it does not add up that they will willy-nilly just quietly slink away and leave Benue State.
Of course, nobody chased them. I am telling you, I'm on ground. You're in Abuja there. I'm telling you what is happening. I have traveled
around the area to
Fine, then come yourself and see things for yourself. Because they had the intention of killing people and taking over the land, they left to neighboring states. And they are launching the attack from these places.
I want to know whether you have confidence in the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari and his ability to protect you and the people of Benue State, and the ability of his government to protect you and the people of Benue State, in light of the issues that you have said are taking place.
I have confidence that he can do it. That is why I invited him to come to Benue State and see things for himself, but not listening to the Inspector General of Police and the Minister of Defense, who are not ready to take these issues headlong and give him a feedback.
Okay. Welcome back. I was speaking yesterday to the Governor of Benue State, Mr. Samuel Otom. That was the interview you heard there. Now, a few issues were raised in that interview, and I'd like to come specifically to you because he's the governor of your state. Specifically, some of the issues around ranching. Are you satisfied and happy with the way the law has been crafted? Do you think it has been designed, in your view, to mitigate this conflict long term and to actually ensure that those who want to ranch sincerely are able to ranch and farmers are therefore allowed to get on with farming the land?
I think some of the lawyers in the House can speak to that better than I can. I can speak to it from the civil society perspective. To be honest, I'll be very honest, I actually feel for my governor. He is between, for want of a better phrase, a rock and a hard place. I think if we all followed how this law came into place, the truth is, as far back as 2013, we know attacks had been happening before then. And the people, frankly, got tired. And they were tired and felt that government, as the gentleman in the audience said, at all levels, had not responded in the way that they should have responded. People say this is a party thing, is one party, is another party. In the previous administration, there were allegations then that the government at that time in Benue was not responsive enough to those attacks. I remember even criticizing a government official who should have been in his position for taking off to Abuja when he should have been there responding to certain things. And of course, his own officers got back to me, but there you go. But the issue is that the people now got tired and started pushing. I remember, for those who remember clearly, I think in 2016, there were demonstrations actually in Makurdi by the people that this law should be passed. So after due consultation, as was said, I even remember when the public hearings were had, I remember people were not happy with the first draft and kept insisting that certain provisions should be made. Unfortunately, I do not remember some of those provisions that they had insisted, oh, this is looking like it's favoring those who come in and then eventually come back and attack us. I remember there was that statement made by certain persons in the public. These are people whom we should not forget, even as we interrogate this crisis. We have lost over 1,500 people, just in Benue alone. Again, on the other side, assuming from everything we've heard, people are also dying from the herdsmen. I was talking to an elder in my place. He was upset also with the elite of the people who own this cattle because it's back again to lack of governance and lack of opportunities for our people. We send out these people, or the owners of this cattle, send out these people to go into those bushes. Some of them have children.
Okay, so there's an assumption here that the people who are herding are not necessarily the owners of the cattle.
Investigations we did in 2014, I think those who are owners here can maybe attest further. From some of the investigations we did, we understood also back to governance, back again to an elite, a political elite, and even sometimes a business elite that is not responsible and should be held responsible for these killings, is that there is a lot of money pumped into this. Some of the communities went to, they said, those people that came in Tiv, they will say, they'll say, it's not the normal Fulani we know. These ones came, they had weapons. In some instances, some alleged there were people from outside of Nigeria who came with these weapons, accompanied maybe by 1 or 2 Fulani headsmen they knew from before.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you there. We will carry on because I have to take another quick break. We are talking herder-farmer conflict on the core. Don't go away. We'll be back very shortly.